All right, ladies and gentlemen, hey, welcome back to the art room again. We're going to tackle another great holiday-themed painting today. How about a little Mr. Grinch? This is a really fun and easy painting. Just a few supplies needed. Let's dive right in. All right, so here's a look at the painting that we're going to complete today, and if you look at it, we have black paint, yellow paint, and then we're going to have to do a little bit of drawing to make sure that this works out how we want it to work out. So, for our supplies, I'm actually using colored paper today. This is a nice, strong painting paper, cardstock paper. If you don't have green paper to use, you could simply paint a white piece of paper green first to get yourself started, but you definitely want to start on a green base for this. Then I'm going to be drawing today. As always, you can just use a normal pencil to get all your drawing done, but I'm going to be drawing using an ebony pencil so that it shows up nice and dark for you. We're also going to need some pointed brushes today, so I'm probably just going to use this nice large one. You can grab a smaller one if you need to, just to get into the fine detail in what we're going to be painting today. And then the only other thing that we're going to need today is some yellow and black paint. All right, so let's dive in. Let's get this thing drawn. Alright, so to draw Mr. Grinch, I'm going to begin with the nose, and the nose is going to happen directly in the middle of the paper, okay? And we're going to go a little bit higher than the middle. We're going to go right up here, and we start off with a C shape, so it's going to be a shape that just does kind of like that, just a C shape. Now, it also has a little squiggle in it, so we put a little squiggle in it, and then we're going to have a point that comes down. Okay. Now, this is super important where this is because I'm going to leave a giant space here, but I'm going to move all the way down onto the paper here, down here, and I'm going to put a little point that goes up. So directly below this line, I'm going to have a little point that goes up. Now, the smile for Mr. Grinch is going to take up the whole bottom portion here. So going from side to side, it's going to be going all the way around and back up to where the nose is. So I'm going to go straight out from the nose, and then I'm going to draw a nice curved line that goes all the way down to that point that I just put on. Just like so. And then I'm going to be going right back up the other side, all the way around, all the way back up to where the nose goes. Okay, so we have this nice little curved line. Then underneath it, I'm going to add one sort of like little chin line. That's it. Now, the edges of the mouth. The edges of the mouth are going to have a little bit of detail as well. We put a little curly Q on the end, and I'm going to add in one extra line on that. And following symmetry, making it the same on both sides, I'm going to be putting a little curly Q on this side and add in an extra line. And so we've got the nose and the mouth for Mr. Grinch are done. Now the eyes. The eyes have a lot of character that we're going to add into this, but the eyes happen just above where the nose is, and we're going to have a little curve. It starts in pretty close, and what it's going to do is kind of go out in a teardrop shape, kind of like that. So we have a little teardrop shape that happens. Now we're going to add several lines around it as well as the eye on the inside, but let's see if we can mirror that and make it symmetrical on the other side. So I'm going to use approximately the same spacing, right? So same spacing. I'm going to add a little curve like this, make sure that I'm about the same height as I was over there, and then we're going to let this go out to a point as well. So we have this little teardrop shape eye. Now, don't worry too much if they're perfect. The Grinch is not a perfect character, so we don't have to make sure that all of our lines are perfect, just kind of close enough. Now, inside the eye here, I'm going to add in an oval right there, and I'm going to add in another oval right there. Now we're going to do the same thing on this other eye, so I'm going to add in an oval on this side and a little oval on the inside of that as well. And again, we kind of want them to match up and be similar, but they don't have to be perfectly the same. Now the eyes have a lot of sort of wrinkle lines and things that go around them, so right up here I'm going to add a little flare that goes off. On the ends of the eyes, we're going to have it flare this way and that way. And then on the bottom of the eye, we're going to let it go down once and then do that again. Now, all of those lines that I just added over here, I'm going to add onto the other side. So right up here, I'm going to have a little flare that comes off. On the end of it, we're going to flare off this way and that way. And then on the bottom, we're going to let it curve around and curve around. Now I do want to have a little bit of detail right over here as well. This is just a little kind of wrinkle line or something for the Grinch here, so we're going to add just a little bit in like this. Weird little shape. Weird little shape. We're going to paint that all in black. And then, again, mirroring and symmetry. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to try to recreate this same shape again. It's made of curves and points. And again, remember, you don't have to make sure that yours is perfectly the same as mine. Just, you know, kind of a fun shape to draw in there for the wrinkles. Now, finally, for the drawing, the only thing that we have left to put in is the eyebrows. Now, the eyebrows stay in right here really close, but then they're going to move up and away. Now, the eyebrows are kind of a funky shape, so I'm going to let it curve in like this and curve up like that. That's how I'm going to begin. So sort of a fancy looking V shape. Now I'm going to let it curve up like this and bump again and bump again and bump again and bump again. And then we're going to let it go off out to this weird looking tail shape. And the whole bottom side of our eyebrow is done. Now we're going to come back on the other side. So I'm going to bring this back in. I'm going to let this go up to a point and curve back in, up to another point, up to another point, up to another point, and then I'm going to let this curve out and meet up over there. So we've got this really weird looking eyebrow. It should look like a scraggly looking eyebrow for Mr. Grinch there. All right, so now this same shape, we're going to try to make a similar one on the other side. So we're going to try to replicate all of those moves that we just did. But again, don't worry if the eyebrows are perfect by any means. We're going to let it curve out like that and go up like this. So again, starting with that sort of funky little V shape. Now we're going to go up to a bump and then another bump and another bump. And another bump we'll put down to a point, and then I'm going to let it curve up and up like that. So we've got the whole bottom of the eyebrow is done there. Now coming over on top here, we're going to let this drop down so that we have a point. We're going to go up to another point and another point. We're going to let that go up to another point and get these nice scraggly looking eyebrows going the whole way down. Flip a few more points on there and then just finish it off. And there we go. We've got our drawing is made. We've got everything in place for our Grinch, and now we're just down to painting him in. All right, so painting him in. I'm just going to be using a nice pointed brush here. We only have two colors that we've got to put in, and the first one that I want to put in actually is the yellow. So I'm going to start just with my yellow, and I'm going to paint the entire eye in yellow. Okay, so right here, this part, I'm going to just paint that in, and I'm going to go right over my pencil lines. I'm not going to worry about anything else that I have in place here. I'm just going to paint right over it all the way in yellow, and I'm going to do that to both of the eyes. You'll notice that yellow is transparent enough that we can just see our lines right through, so we don't have to worry about the pupil and the iris for now, but we do want to have the eyes with a nice yellow on it. We'll let that yellow dry, and then we'll come back and do some black details right over on top of it. All right, folks, the remainder of the painting is just to be painted all in black. Every other line that we have is going to be painted in a nice black color. Nice pointed brush. I don't really need to even wash out my brush. Yellow is not strong enough to mess around with the black that I have right here. So I'm just going to get in with my nice, careful, pointed brush and begin to paint in all the details. We're going to paint in the eyebrows, details for the eyes, the nose, the mouth. But you do want to have a pointed brush to get this done, because the pointed brush will allow you to get out to those fine points that we have in all of these areas, including the eyebrows. Remember, as always, when painting the edges of shapes, we want to paint in the direction that that shape goes. It helps us get our smooth edges there. I am painting the larger spaces first, and I'm going to save all of my line work for the end. So I'm going to paint the wrinkle lines over here on both sides, and then I'm painting the eyebrows as well. Those are my larger shapes, and then we'll get into painting the lines for the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. All right, I've got all of my major large shapes taken care of. Now I've just got to get into all of the small details, all the detail lines. Now, as far as this goes, the best tip that I can give you is just not to put too much paint on the brush. You can paint as far out as you can with these detail lines, but don't put too much paint on the brush. It's going to be hard to control. Hey, this is a wonderful painting to do with friends and family. Young children will do this just as well as adults can. Maybe turn on a little bit of Christmas music, share with each other the events of the day that you spent. This is just a great little family painting to get into. Essentially, your job at this time is to just put in every pencil line that you created. We're just going to paint it in black. Nice, careful line work, trying to get everything painted in, trying to keep all of your lines consistently thick all the way through. But don't worry too much if you miss your line a little bit or have any kind of mistakes that happen here. All right, there it is. We've got him finished. Really nice looking Grinch painting. Hey, I hope you had some fun painting this with me today. Nice, easy painting. Hopefully you're not feeling like him this winter season, and you have yourself a Merry Christmas. We'll see you back again for another art activity. If you're looking for more paintings like this, search through the channel. Lots of content up there to teach you how to paint really cute little holiday decorations for all kinds of holidays. Thanks for joining me today, folks. Love having you around. Take care.